The Denver Broncos just got hit with a wave of hope at training camp, and this time it's all good news. First up, a massive sigh of relief across Broncos country. Dre Greenlaw has avoided disaster. What looked like a potentially serious injury turns out it's nothing that's going to sideline him long. In fact, there's growing optimism he'll be back on the field as early as next week for joint practices against the 49ers. We even saw clips of him today, no shell, moving smooth, looking strong. And then there's Sean Payton, who didn't hesitate when he stepped to the mic. His words? Clear and confident. I felt good about it yesterday, and I feel even better today after the MRIs. That kind of leadership, that kind of trust in the process, it means everything. But wait, there's more. Two rookies, players barely mentioned in preseason chatter, are starting to explode at camp. These underdogs weren't expected to make waves this early, but they're turning heads and pushing for serious snaps this season. And then comes the unexpected, trade whispers swirling around a possible wide receiver move. Could the Broncos be shaking up their offense? And finally, just a little bonus for those watching across the division, Chargers rookie O'Marion Hampton, the one they hyped all offseason? Well, based on last night's preseason action, he didn't exactly live up to the billing. Broncos fans, this is the kind of day we live for. Our stars are healing. Our rookies are rising, and the AFC West just blinked. The Broncos are playing it smart with Dre Greenlaw. He might suit up for the joint practices with the 49ers and sit out the preseason game, or the other way around. Either way, this is outstanding news. The key takeaway, Sean Payton isn't worried. And that tells you everything. In response to the injury scare, Denver has already brought in 2 inside linebackers as reinforcements, more on those additions later. But let's shift to another update from camp today, and it's one that fans were holding their breath on. Hugh Robinson, a player many believe could be one of the steals of the draft, was spotted in a brace. Early concerns were valid, especially considering the hype around him. This guy was Nick Saban's personal favorite on special teams at Alabama, a team captain, a high-character leader. But the latest? It's just a bone bruise, no long-term damage, and Payton doesn't expect him to miss much time. Huge sigh of relief. And when you look at the edge room in Denver, it's loaded. We're in incredible shape. Think about it, this time last year we traded Baron Browning and still shattered the sack record. And now, we've got Jonah Ellis, the youngest player in NFL history to notch 5 sacks as a rookie, and Andre Tillman, who's settling in during his first full offseason with the Broncos. The firepower off the edge? Borderline elite. This defense is built to hunt. But then comes the play that set camp on fire today. One clip. One moment. And Broncos Twitter went absolutely wild. Pat Bryant beat Patrick Surtain too. Yes, that Patrick Surtain on a crucial 3rd down route. Fans caught it from the hill, phones out, hearts racing. The video spread fast. And the buzz? Unreal. That's not just a rookie winning a rep. That's a statement. It's wild. Absolutely wild. Sean Payton made waves when he said Pat Bryant reminded him of Michael Thomas. At the time, it sounded bold, even crazy. But now, that comparison doesn't seem so far off. Because today, we witnessed something that almost never happens. Pat Bryant beat Patrick Surtain too. And let's be clear, this isn't just any cornerback. Surtain is the kind of lockdown defender that elite NFL wideouts literally train to beat. At Chad Okocinco's camp, pros were trading secrets just trying to figure out how to get separation from him. Guys were strategizing, studying his technique, and even then, most couldn't shake him. So for a rookie to step in and win a critical rep against him, that's not just a highlight, that's a declaration. And it didn't stop there. Bo Nix connected with Bryant on that play, and now we're seeing a real connection beginning to form. But it's not just Bryant lighting it up. Troy Franklin is starting to stack solid day after solid day in camp. Quietly, consistently, he's building momentum. And if Bo Nix, heading into year 2, can reignite that Oregon chemistry with his college teammate, watch out. Because if the Broncos' offense catches fire the way this defense already has, this team becomes a serious problem in the AFC. This isn't hype. This is real. And if these young playmakers become the players Sean Payton believes they can be, Denver's offense might finally match the firepower of its defense. This is how contenders are built. Let's talk about something that might seem like a setback, but is actually a huge sign of progress. Bo Nix just threw his first interceptions of training camp. Now, before anyone hits the panic button, let's put this into perspective. Across the NFL, it's almost a daily headline: quarterbacks throwing picks in camp. We've seen it with Aaron Rodgers, with quarterbacks in Dallas, Chicago, New York. It's part of the process. But Bo Nix, he went nearly 2 full weeks before throwing a single interception. That's not luck. That's poise. That's precision. That's a young quarterback showing he's locked in from the start. The first pick he threw, it wasn't just an interception, it was arguably the play of camp so far. Sean Payton even broke it down after practice, describing it as an RPO run-pass option that the defense read perfectly. And that's what makes this so exciting. Because every great quarterback has to take a few of these lumps. You don't grow by avoiding mistakes, you grow by learning from them. This moment for Bo Nix, it's not a red flag, it's a milestone. And if this is the worst we've seen from him in camp, that's a huge win for the Denver Broncos. The way he's carrying himself, the way he's commanding the huddle, this team is starting to believe in him. You can feel it, and every rep, every throw, even every interception, it's all building toward something bigger. Sean Payton doesn't just coach football, he remembers it like a living archive. After Bo Nix's first interception of camp, Payton immediately diagnosed the play and called it out. The exact same RPO that Russell Wilson threw a pick on against Houston 2 seasons ago. That level of memory, that level of detail, it's elite. We always hear about Sean McVay and his photographic recall, but let's give credit where it's due. Payton is cut from the same cloth. He doesn't just see the game, he remembers every moment of it. That's the kind of leadership that builds champions. The interception itself, a pick six by Talanoa Hufanga, who had absolutely no business making that play, but he did. Payton said Bo Nix had a 9-yard cushion, and somehow Hufanga came flying out of nowhere, read the RPO perfectly, and took it the other way. That's not just a defensive play, that's a warning shot to the league. Hufanga and Dre Greenlaw patrolling the middle, that combination will force quarterbacks into safe, short throws, because challenging the heart of this defense is going to come with a price. And trying to test the outside? Well, good luck going after Pat Surtain. And speaking of that, Bo Nix made that mistake on his second pick, too. He tried targeting Courtland Sutton, but Surtain was there, step for step. Just like so many QBs learned last year, you don't test Surtain. Bo did, and he paid for it. But this isn't failure. This is growth. Bo is learning lessons now that will sharpen him for Sundays. And with this defense playing at an all-world level, all he has to do is keep getting better. And he will. Bo Nix throwing interceptions, it's not a problem, it's part of the process. Some critics have claimed that Bo's been playing it too safe at camp, sticking to checkdowns and short throws. But today proved otherwise. He tested the defense. He took chances. And yes, he got picked off. But that's exactly what training camp is for. When asked about it, Sean Payton didn't flinch. He made it crystal clear, I don't want Bo throwing interceptions, even in practice. It might seem obvious, but it's a direct response to those who say Bo's playing scared. He's not. He's challenging defenders, he's working through the system, and he's pushing himself in real time. This isn't captain checkdown. This is a young QB working to become the future of this franchise. And remember, defenses usually dominate early in camp. Their assignments are simpler. They react, they fly, but the offense, that takes timing, chemistry, and rhythm. And Bo is building all of that, one rep at a time. But let's talk about something else that stood out today, and it wasn't just what happened on the field. It was Sean Payton. He stood at that podium for over 30 minutes, far longer than the league requires. And he didn't waste a second. He dove into the smallest details, individual plays, player habits, specific mechanics. You could feel it, the passion, the obsession, the brilliance. This isn't just a coach. This is a builder, a tactician, a visionary. The way Payton talks about football, it's the way legends think, the way champions operate. He doesn't just oversee a team, he engineers it from the tiniest towel size to the deepest offensive wrinkle. Broncos fans, we've got a head coach who is all in. And that changes everything. Sean Payton's attention to detail is nothing short of legendary, and that level of precision is going to pay off. He recently spoke at length not about a game plan, not a play call, but the actual construction plans for the Broncos' new training facility. He didn't just oversee it. He knew every inch of it, down to the names of the workers and the layout of the I-beams. That's who he is, a coach who's not just invested in wins, but in every bolt, every wall, every blade of grass his players train on. He's not just leading a team, he's building a culture. And when a coach is that locked in, that hands-on, it sends a message. Excellence isn't optional, it's expected. That kind of leadership doesn't just create discipline, it creates championships. Payton also dove into how he uses analytics, and it was revealing. While some teams overload the booth with numbers and rely on charts to make every decision, Payton takes a more refined approach. He values analytics, especially in player evaluation, scouting, and development, but when it comes to those critical game day calls, like whether to go for it on 4th down or attempt a 2-point conversion, he leans on instincts sharpened by experience. And why wouldn't he? This is a coach who took one of the most ridiculed franchises in NFL history and turned them into champions. His feel for the moment, his sense for the flow of the game that can't be taught, and no algorithm can replace it. When Sean Payton is at the helm, this team has direction, purpose, and an unshakable foundation. Sean Payton doesn't just believe in analytics, he uses them to find future stars. When asked about why the Broncos chose Bo Nix, Payton referenced a key stat that jumped off the page. Only one in every 89 plays Bo ran in college resulted in a negative play. That's not just efficient, that's elite-level decision-making. And according to Payton, you'd struggle to even find a close second. That kind of precision is why Bo Nix is in Denver. Because Payton sees what others don't. But analytics are just the beginning. What sets Sean Payton apart is what he brings to the field, not just as a coach, but as a master teacher of the game. We've all seen coaches who just blow the whistle and bark instructions. But Payton? He's in players' ears during drills, breaking down techniques, showing them how to fake outside, cut inside, win at the line of scrimmage. He's not just demanding results, he's teaching the process. This is the kind of coach who leaves nothing to chance. From the fine-tuned release off the line to painting opponent logos on the practice field to mentally prepare his players for road games, every detail matters. That's how you build a winning culture. And that's why this team is on the rise. Sean Payton's presence isn't just felt, it's transforming everything. And while the Broncos continue to climb, the Chargers may be heading in the opposite direction. Word out of camp is that they were relying heavily on Najee Harris to be their RB1, and early signs say the plan might already be falling apart. Advantage, Denver. The Chargers' running back situation, it's unraveling fast. Their top rookie, Najee Harris, has yet to take a single snap due to a fireworks-related incident. And now, rumors are swirling from inside Chargers camp that he might never play a down for them. Some believe the team is working to void his contract entirely. That left them leaning on what they called the second-best running back in this year's draft. But after what we saw in the Hall of Fame game, that title is already in question. He faced 0 Detroit Lions starters, a unit that struggled late last season even with their top guys healthy. And yet, he still couldn't break through. One play said it all. He tried to bounce outside, something that worked for him in college, but even the Lions' third stringers shut him down cold. That's the reality of the NFL. You can't rely on college tape to dominate grown men at the pro level. And based on what we've seen so far, it's clear the Chargers' backfield is in trouble. Jim Harbaugh doesn't look fully confident in any of his options, and here's the proof. He kept a tender on J.K. Dobbins during roster moves, clearly seeing him as a contingency. Dobbins might have been plan C behind Harris and Hampton. But here's the twist. Had Harbaugh known about the off-field disaster with Harris? Dobbins never leaves the building. Instead, the Chargers let him walk. And where did he end up? Right here in Denver. Now, J.K. Dobbins is not just another signing. He's a veteran presence, a leader, and a weapon for Sean Payton's offense. Meanwhile, chaos brews in L.A. and the Broncos, they're getting stronger. And just as that story unfolds, the NFL rumor mill turns again, this time to Washington, where reports suggest trouble is brewing with Terry McLaurin. Could the Commanders actually let him go? Stay tuned. Denver may not be done yet. Terry McLaurin has officially requested a trade, and while the league buzzes with speculation, here's what it really shows. The Denver Broncos are doing it right. Why? Because 4 of our own players, Nick Bonito, Zach Allen, Jonathan Cooper, and Courtland Sutton, are in similar contract limbo. Yet not one has demanded a trade. Not one has turned to social media with drama. They're standing by the organization, standing by Sean Payton, and that speaks volumes. There's a culture shift happening in Denver, a locker room built on trust, accountability, and belief. And you can feel it. Sure, Broncos Twitter is on fire with the idea of adding Scary Terry to the offense, and yeah, pairing him with Russell Wilson or Bo Nix would be electric. But here's the truth, we may not need him. Because Pat Bryant is flashing major potential, Troy Franklin is earning his reps, and Marvin Mims is starting to break out in camp. This receiver room is young, hungry, and rising fast. And with Payton orchestrating the offense, the Broncos might already have the weapons they need. This roster is coming together. You can feel it in camp, in the players, in the energy. This team is building something special. Football is almost here, and Denver is locked in.